Hello everyone. Today on this video I would like to talk about the technology that I have in the greenhouse and what I use it for, when, and why. So we're going to start very simply here with the one that's most apparent to you right now. This is a T5 grow light bar. I have two of them. One over here on the heat mat tray and the seedlings, and then the one under here for the mounted orchids and the Vandaceous that hang under here. And so this one is the primary one, and they're very energy efficient and they're very effective. I've used exclusively them for some plants and have fantastic results. I try not to rely just on them though, because these are on a timer, and so I want them to also get the natural lighting. And so I have the two of them. They have little things here, so let's see, I just turned it off and I can turn it back on, but I don't want to have to rely on it for automation. I want to be able to rely on it for it to run itself on its own schedule. So those are the two grow lights I have that control the extra lighting in the greenhouse. I have up here is the master fan. It's a big blue box fan, which I turned off for filming purposes because it's very noisy, in the camera at least. And this one pushes air towards the back of the greenhouse, towards the door, which you see reflected in the actual center of the fan. And it helps keep airflow going. It's a strong circulation, so I have no rot problems in here because everything is just circulating so much. The misters come on once every hour, and as of right now, and they're dry within like 15 minutes. Everything's dry within 15 minutes and just kind of sitting there. So we have a good air circulation from that. The secondary fan is this one right here. It's a Honeywell Vortex, and it's running at all times as well normally, although this one's much quieter, so I can keep it on during filming. But this one pushes air across the greenhouse towards the other side, intercepting the flow from the middle fan and causing a little bit of air turbulence in here. It does a very good job of keeping air circulated, and very good job of just keeping things in general pretty good. And then I used to have two, but I have these Vicks Cool Mist humidifiers, which I have a microfiber cloth on for the filter, as an extra filter for dust. But these keep the ambient humidity a lot higher when I need it. It's empty right now, so it probably actually shouldn't be on. But when I'm not running the misters, or when I can't run the misters, I usually run these primarily. So, and the humidity stays really high. And these are nice little foggers. They're cheap, $30 each, and they last a long time. And then here's the other grow light again. And then on this tray where I have like some seedlings and some younger plants and just some warmer growing stuff, I have a seedling heat tray which provides a gentle heat to the plants on the undersides of the pots. And it's not obviously gonna like make huge changes in temperature, but it helps keep the roots a little bit warmer on the warmer things when it's cooler inside. And so that's running constantly as well. The heater, this is the heater here. It is a Comfort Zone radiative fan forced heater, and it's on max setting right now because it runs on a thermostat that I'll look at in a bit, so I don't need to worry about controlling this manually. So this turns on and off on a thermostat, which I will show next, and it's very effective. I've been running it for a while. I'm running it for all winter so far, and I've mainly been using it for the colder months because in the summer I don't need to rely on the greenhouse getting so warm, or having to warm the greenhouse manually. So this, combined with the insulation on the outside of the greenhouse, keeps the greenhouse nice and toasty during the winter. While it can be like 12 degrees Fahrenheit in the morning here, and on the worst nights in winter, some of the worst nights in winter, it will be a cozy 70 or 68 or somewhere around there, depending on what part of winter we're in, at night in here. And it's just very nice. All the plants love it, and the heater, I have it facing out this way so that it hits the front of the greenhouse and the fan forces the heat around, because I don't want the heater to be sitting in front of any plants or have the heat coming out from the heater in front of any plants. So this was the best place to put it. It's just off to an angle, so it has a little bit of interception with the airflow. So the thermostat is this box right here. I keep it inside the greenhouse right now. It used to be outside, but I keep it inside now. So this is a Bayite brand. It's a pretty good brand. It has a couple issues. The heater actually gets stuck every now and then, and so it'll raise the temperature really high in here, and it shouldn't. And so I'm trying to get that handled, but it's an otherwise very good one. It has a cooling one here if you have a fan or like a cooler. I don't have one, so I don't use it. I rely on the humidity and the foggers and the misters to keep the temperature down, and they actually do a fantastic job of it. But this one, so I have it set. So if I look at here, that's my heating differential. It'll turn on when within 1.5 degrees of being off from the set temperature, and then that's the cooling differential, which I don't use. So if I go into the settings here, I can set that I can adjust. This is the set value that the temperature of the greenhouse is kept at. So let's say I want to put it down to 80, just flat out 81. It's in cooling mode because it knows that the temperature is higher than 0.1 degrees off of the set temperature. So it's trying to power the cooling outlet to cool down the greenhouse, even though there's nothing to cool with. So that's how you use it if you're only using one setting, is you just set the setting you need and leave the other plug open. This is the cord for the probe, which runs all the way up the greenhouse. If I take a slow little pan up, you see it, there it goes, behind the humidifier, up there. And then it kind of hangs up in the middle of the Hoyas there. So this is the control for the misting system. It's an orbit hose timer. And so I have it set to, if I turn the dial here, it runs for 1 minute every hour. And that's plenty for this size greenhouse. That's the time it just starts at, but starts to schedule at. But right now, if I set it to off, it turns off, but I keep it on auto. I can manually control it here, or I can like adjust the settings here. So I'm going to demonstrate the misters, although I don't know how well they'll appear on camera. I'm going to turn on a manual 1 minute run of the misters, and that should be turning on any second now. There we go. You can kind of see it on camera blowing in front of the lights. I'm going to turn that off though, because I just ran, so I don't want it to run again. And so that's the new humidifier control right now, is the misting system. It encourages root growth, and it keeps everything just that much more humid. So all of the electronics hide in this little box right here, and then I put my candle in there for now. So it's definitely not clean in here. I'm going to be the first to say it's not an organized mess in here, or organized little spot. The reason it's in this container here is to keep water out and keep the electronics elevated and dry. And so everything is in this box except for the thermostat, because that needs to be out and exposed. And that's how I control everything. There's you can see, like, there's a timer right there. There's a couple of timers in there. There's the main power strip with it. It has a trip on it as well as a backup. You can see that other light right there is the wireless control for the humidifiers. Right now it's set to on because the humidifiers were on, but they're empty, so I have to disconnect it and turn it off for now. But that's how the electronics are controlled in there. And then I tried to hide as much of the wire as possible, so you see like the fan wire goes up the back and comes up, as does the wire for the humidifier. They just come up in the back. There's no like open wires over in this area, none running across. All the electronics are actually on this side of the greenhouse, the right side if you're facing it. And so that just kind of saves space and saves trouble and everything. So I don't want open wires, or like wires running everywhere, just as a precaution. So I keep everything on this side and keep everything elevated. So that's about it for the electronics. There's nothing much else really to talk about. The misters, actually, if I glance at those real quick, just so you see where the system runs. The hose empties into the Hoya there because it's a very thirsty plant, so I figured that would be a good place to put it. And so the misters run all the way over there. They do a little loop around over there, and then they come back this way, where the hose goes down the side of the greenhouse in the back, and out in the corner of the greenhouse where it can be sealed. So that's how the misting system is wired up in here, and it does a fantastic job. So anyway, thank you for everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video on my electronic system and my misting system and what I use everything for.